Hey everybody, welcome back to Tech Odyssey. So today I'm here to talk about the OnePlus 8T. Really solid phone. I've been using it for the last week and I got a lot of things to say about it. I think that it's a pretty swell phone and it has a lot of good things going for it. Super fast, super zippy, everything that I would expect out of a OnePlus phone, and a couple other surprises here and there, and we're going to talk about it in this video. But before we get to that, I do want to say if this is your first time stopping by the channel, I appreciate you being here. If you enjoy the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. Now let's talk about the OnePlus 8T. So the OnePlus 8T is a pretty remarkable phone. It's very thin, very slim, reminds me very much of the OnePlus 8 that I had earlier this year. It only weighs 188 grams. That's a lot better than like an iPhone 12 Pro Max, which is really, really heavy. It's got the X55 modem in it for 5G, Snapdragon 865, the flagship processor that came out at the beginning of the year. Of course, they've had the 855 Plus since then, but I actually find the 865 to be a little bit better on battery life, at least from my own personal experience. 4,500 milliamp battery. That's a lot of juice, especially in a phone that's this thin. Normally, for a battery that size, I would expect it to be a little bit fatter, a little bit heavier, more dense, but it's really just a very nice device to hold on to, and it doesn't weigh a ton, not super bulky. I like those things, especially since the other phone I'm using right now is the iPhone 12 Pro Max. Huge contrast. So this one has 8 gigabytes of RAM, which is perfectly good. Nobody really complains about 8 gigabytes of RAM. If it's 12, it's like, that's kind of a lot. Do you really need that much? That's just a way to charge more money. If you have 6, it's kind of like, they went kind of short on that. Even though 6 really kind of is fine, people kind of expect a little bit more when it comes to flagship devices. So I'm glad that it has that in there. It comes with the 65-watt charger. It's called Warp Charger or Warp Charging, and it will get your phone recharged from 0 to 100 in 39 minutes. And I actually did a time-lapse video. It only took like 25 minutes to get my phone to go from 20% or 28% to like 100. It didn't take long at all. So yeah, 39 minutes from 0 to 100, that's pretty darn impressive. And I've tested it for almost that, and it's super fast. It's one of those things where you just go plug it in the charger, and before you know it, your phone's like halfway done recharging. It's completely crazy. And I like it, and I'm glad they put the charger in the box. Yes, they had faster charging with like the OnePlus 8 earlier, but it didn't come with that charger. This one does, so pretty cool there. There's no wireless charging, but I don't really feel like it needs to have that when the wired charger charges it so fast. There's no IP rating. I'm mostly okay with that as well. Most of the previous OnePlus phones haven't had it, and it actually costs them more money to get that certification, and it actually costs more money to add that certification on there. I think it costs like an extra $100 to the phone value just so they can say it's IP68. Well, mine's IP, don't put it in water, and that's kind of how I roll with phones. So yes, if you accidentally drop it, it's probably going to be fine. I mean, they did a test with the OnePlus 7 Pro before. They put it in a bucket of water and they tested it out that, look, it's fine. We just don't have the IP certification. Not trying to pander, not trying to cater. Yes, it would be better if it was IP68, IP67, one of those. But if it saves me $100, I don't have any hurt feelings over it. I promise you I haven't lost any sleep. It's got a 6.55-inch AMOLED display. Super bright. Looks really good, crisp, clear, 1080p, Full HD Plus resolution. It's not Quad HD Plus. I don't really have any heartburn over that. I used to be kind of a resolution snob, even as far back as like 2015, 2016. I'm like, why don't they have Quad HD Plus? They should have it. And now I'm like, hey, 1080p looks fine. The display is really what makes it. The resolution on a screen this size, 1080p, it looks perfectly good. Especially whenever you've got the whole 120 hertz refresh rate thing going on for you. That's really cool too. So you don't have to complain about it when you have the Note 20 Ultra that's $1299 or the S20 Ultra that's $1399, and then you're limited to 120 frames per second. You got to drop it down to 1080p anyway. This one, 1080p straight out of the box, so you don't got to worry about it. But it is a really beautiful display. It looks good. It has a under-the-screen fingerprint sensor. It works out nice. It's super zippy. No problems there. Accuracy is good. This technology has come quite a long way over the last couple of years to the point where I think that it's pretty darn reliable. It also has facial recognition, so you can use that as well. It's just like the dumbed down normal facial recognition. It's not like the Face ID where it's super, super ultra secure and you can't fool it with like pictures and stuff. It's just the basic one, but hey, it's there for convenience if you want to set it up. No headphone jack, USB-C on the bottom. The phone has stereo speakers on it and they work really well. Nice volume, nice clarity. It's good for playing games, watching videos, whatever you want to do, listening to music. It's one of the nice things about this phone. I really do like having the speaker on the top and the bottom. So it's got a 48 megapixel camera on the back. It's also got a 16 megapixel ultra wide, a 5 megapixel macro lens, and then a 2 megapixel monochrome sensor. So you've got pretty much everything you need back there. As far as the overall camera quality, I will say that in like ideal lighting conditions, it takes pretty decent pictures. Night photos, it's kind of a mixed bag. Depending on the light scenario, I took this one picture when I was outside of Applebee's the other night, and I was really impressed. I thought it looked better than the one on my iPhone 12 Pro Max, which is supposed to be like the best nighttime photo picture taking camera ever. But then I had like another setting where I took a picture of this light bulb in my backyard, and it didn't come out all that great. So it's kind of a mixed bag when it comes to performance there. One of the things you can do to get around that is some people recommend putting Gcam on here. I don't ever test out phones with Gcam. I test the stock camera setup. What you see is what you get. So that's how pretty much everyone's going to use it. Most people don't go into a store and go, oh, let me buy this, and if the camera sucks, I'll put Gcam on it. That's a fix. That's a Band-Aid. That's something you can do. I just like to use the native one that's in here. And I think that the cameras are okay, but they're not as good as the Pro. And some people said that they thought that the cameras were better from the get-go, and then they made some software changes, and then they got worse. Look, most of the refinements that you're going to get with the camera are from the software updates, and they should be able to do good things with it. As the phone progresses and it's been around longer, they should be able to make the camera performance better over time. It's very capable when it comes to taking video as well. It can shoot 8K up to 30 frames per second. The front-facing selfie camera is quite capable as well. It takes decent photos. You can use the volume button as a shutter. Go ahead and snap a picture there, and ta-da. And I think that, there we go. Photo quality, it's just like I said. If you've got good lighting, you're going to get good pictures out of it. It's not always Pixel or iPhone quality, but at the end of the day, it's more than capable for taking pictures. It's going to look good on social media. Take pictures and video to your heart's content. It will shoot 4K at 30 and 60 frames per second on the back. The front-facing camera only does 1080p video at 30 frames per second, and that kind of threw me off when I was first trying to shoot some video, because I went out, and I'll show you a video clip here in a minute, but I went out and I was shooting some video footage, testing out the different modes and stuff, letting you be able to hear what the microphone sounds like, which I think is pretty decent. And I was like, why can't I change the mode? Why can't I change the mode? And then I realized that it was fixed on the front-facing selfie camera, 1080p at 30 frames per second, but on the rear-facing camera, 4K up to 60, which is nice, but you can only do it for like 10 minutes, which is a little on the disappointing side. However, I think the video quality is good. It's got image stabilization in, and let's go ahead and right now, I'll show you some of the video clips here just so you can get a feel for how good it is. So this is the front-facing selfie camera video on the OnePlus 8T. I wanted to go ahead and test this out and show it off. And walking up to my car right now, you can see here that the weather's fixing to get supremely not cool. So trying to make it home before it starts flooding and gets crazy. But I think the video quality on here is pretty good so far. I don't have any complaints about it. So that's it for the video. Pretty good, huh? I think that overall it's a pretty capable phone. It's got a lot of things going for it. It's got power, it's got memory, it's got a beautiful screen, it's got great performance. It's really good for gaming. You're going to be able to play whatever you want, anything in the Android App Store. You're going to be able to play it, 120 hertz refresh rate. You've got plenty of power, great sound. So this phone is really good for a lot of people. It looks kind of unassuming. Like there's not a whole lot of flair that goes along with it. It's not an overly like, look at me phone, but the colors are nice, very good, very complimentary. And then on top of that, you get the 4,500 milliamp battery. I do have a small point of contention with the battery. I am notorious for killing batteries. Like, if you're going to get bad screen on time, it's going to be me. And that's because I have, my screen doesn't time out till at least 5 minutes because I'm always using it for stuff. I leave the phone on, I leave the screen on all the time. And yeah, I've had days where I've only got like 5 hours and something of screen on time, but the brightness is at like 100. The brightness very much impacts the battery life on this phone. So if you've got it at like 50 or 60%, or if you use adaptive brightness, you're gonna get way better battery life than I am with adaptive brightness off, not having dark mode on, and having it at like 90 to 100 all the time. And yeah, that's just part of life. I like having my screen bright. I understand that that does impact the battery life. So if you're a responsible human being, unlike me, and you put it on adaptive brightness, try out dark mode, or if you turn 120 hertz off, if you don't care for that, put it on 60, that will extend your battery life as well. I've heard a lot of people saying they get really good battery life, and I was like, why am I getting not good battery life? And it's not the battery, it's me. And that's just how things are. But overall, it'll still get me pretty much through a day. And that's with me using it and abusing the battery and the way that I use the phone. So a normal person, you should be able to get all day battery out of this thing, no problem. Yes, if you have the screen on a lot, if you are playing video games, if you're watching YouTube videos for 5 hours straight, yeah, it's going to drain the battery just like anything else. But the great thing about this phone, the one reason why I pretty much don't care, is because I just plug it in with my Warp charger and I'm recharged back in less than 40 minutes and with a full charge all over again to burn through. So that's one of the great things about this phone is I really love the Warp charge. I love the power. It's got power on demand, and I like that. It's not throttled. It's not something that's slow. It's got the Oxygen OS. It's already running Android 11. It's just really nice. It's a great experience, and I've been wanting to get this phone for a while, and I'm really glad that OnePlus sent this out to me. I have bought the OnePlus 8, and I reviewed it. I tested it out earlier this year, and I had some things that I just didn't care about on that phone, and most of those have been addressed in here. I mean, it's got UFS 3.1, super fast storage, got the 120 hertz refresh rate instead of the 90. Yes, it's still got the Snapdragon 865, but that will do anything you need it to. It is a very powerful processor. It's got 5G, beautiful AMOLED display, 4500 milliamp battery, everything you could ask for, and then you can recharge it in 39 minutes. And that, to me, that's just like the icing on the cake when it comes to this device. So I've been using it a week, really been enjoying it, and I think that it's a solid phone. And if you want to pick one up, I don't think you're going to be disappointed. I've still got some more testing to do so I can do my full review, which will be coming out later. This is kind of like a 1 week review. Been using it. This is my experience. Of course, your mileage may vary, but I think that this phone overall will get a pretty much positive response out of anybody that picks it up. It's solid. The only things are the cameras. They're not quite, I think, on flagship level yet. They can be. It's certainly capable in certain situations, but it's not as reliable as you would get with like a Samsung or a iPhone or some other one. So that's the only little asterisk there. And then, like I said, the battery life, for me, I can still kill it in a day with the brightness turned all the way up, but you know, that's me and that's how I roll. 120 hertz, brightness at 100, 90, 95 all the time. That's going to do it for anybody. So that's all I've got. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them down in the comments section. I'll get back with you. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. And as always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys next time.